The legend of Lake Vostok. 1998, Russian and U.S. teams pulled a 2-mile-long core out of the surface of Antarctica. 14 years later, after almost 30 years working on a project, they cracked into the cavern of Lake Vostok. Many studies had showed that the O2 content around Lake Vostok was 20 times that of anywhere on the Earth's surface. The oxygen content, along with the lake being a time capsule for the last 15 million years, provided perfect conditions for it to be teeming with new life. As the expedition team neared the cavern, they knew something was wrong when within 50 feet, all comms shut off. With radio silent, they got to the lake's ice shores and an eerie feeling crept over them. But regardless of any feelings they had, they pressed on with the mission. They dove in the lake and quickly began taking samples. Frantically, their colleagues at the surface tried to reach them to no avail, unaware that the team was already fighting for their lives. As one of the Russian scientists was collecting samples, he saw another team member swimming up to him and began swimming towards him. A fear crept over him, but it was too late. They called it specimen 46B, and his colleagues had to watch as 46B tore him limb from limb, consuming every piece. The fans have spoken. This is the legend of Lake Vostok Part 2. February of 2012, a U.S. and Russian-based Arctic team broke through the last 50 feet of ice to get to Lake Vostok, 2 miles below Arctic surface. As soon as they broke through the cavern wall, all comms went out. Regardless, the team pressed on, eager to collect new species. When on their first dive, one Russian scientist was attacked by what is referenced as specimen number 46B. Day one in the water, they watched as their colleague got ripped apart limb from limb, the octopus chewing each piece with its massive beak. It was at this moment scientists realized they were in big trouble. 46B looked like a descendant of the octopus, except it had 14 legs and was highly intelligent, comparatively as smart as the average person. It was such an efficient predator it could virtually mimic its prey. So with the only exit being back through the lake, the scientists knew what they had to do. On day 2, they attempted their first escape. Not long after they dove, a shadowy figure began approaching from the right, and out of nowhere, a diver stopped swimming. Like for Part 3. The Legend of Lake Vostok Part 3. It's day 2 in the cavern and the team's attempting to make their escape back through the water. They're making good pace when all of a sudden one of the divers stopped. The team continued on when one of the females noticed he was gone. Being the closest, she began swimming back towards him. By this time, the rest of the team realized what was happening. With the stopped diver still hypnotized, the scientists noticed a large dark figure approaching the man, and began frantically signaling. As feared, it was specimen 46B, coming back for another meal. While cloaked, the team unknowingly swam by, as 46 released a toxin, the clear toxin paralyzing its prey. The female diver who was closest bravely began swimming back towards the man. Looking over, she noticed 46B had disappeared, when suddenly out of nowhere, with lightning-fast precision, 46 grabbed the man around the neck and slowly began pulling him towards the depths. Stunned, she realized the beast had her around the neck also. She quickly grabbed her Bowie knife and cut the beast's arm off. Sorry, Part 4. The Legend of Lake Vostok Part 4. After a female scientist cut off its leg, the beast retreated. Knowing they didn't have much time, the team went back to shore. That night, they came up with a new strategy. They were going to go on the offense. Had we not had PhDs, said one scientist, I don't think we would have outsmarted the beast. After coming up with a plan, they all turned to bed. As they were sleeping, the water began to ripple. It couldn't have been the beast, it was too small. Then, one of its tentacles slowly slithered onto shore. Yes, it is highly possible octopuses today have this ability, as they have neurotransmitters throughout each tentacle, which is essentially its own brain. As they slept, the tentacle went around checking each person, looking for one in particular, the female scientist who cut him off. The next morning, the team woke up, and she was dead. Rather than kill the rest, the beast only killed her, as if taunting them all. The beast got his revenge. I love y'all, Part 5. Lake Vostok Part 5. They started with 8, now they were 5. The team had had enough. They were going to trap this beast. And as morbid as it sounds, now they had bait, knowing the beast would come back for the female body. After getting set up, they pushed the female body into the water. Like clockwork, the beast heard the vibrations. Knowing the beast liked to attack from below and in the dark, the scientists set up a clear-like net that was weighted and big enough to catch the 30-foot beast. Just as anticipated, 46 took the bait. They successfully captured the alien-like creature. As it was struggling, 46B let out a blood-curdling scream while staring the scientists in the eyes. The team was ecstatic. They hooked the netting to the winch and pulled it up. After they were all out, they plugged the hole and never talked about the incident again until now. Instead of coming back heroes, Putin called them liars. They couldn't believe it. Part 6. Alright, so wrapping it up, this is what happened. When the team got back to Russia, they presented Vladimir Putin with the beast. Thinking they were about to be up for the Nobel Prize, Putin rained on their parade quick. He basically called them liars to the media and told them never to speak of it again, or the former KGB member will do what he has to do. And that's why the scientists came out with the story, which many people still today don't believe. But they figure that Putin, what he wants to do is weaponize it, or create some sort of super soldier out of it. See, some octopi lay up to 200,000 eggs per batch. Could you imagine 200,046 bees? Especially if they're intelligent enough to train, could be something lethal. But if so, they haven't used them yet. Thank y'all for enjoying my stories. There's more coming soon, including some without a doubt true stories. Hope y'all enjoyed.